President Trump just wrapping up a meeting on school safety. He's calling for armed, adept teachers and saying that they're working to get the age limit for all guns up to 21 years old. But the NRA just now releasing a statement saying that such restrictions would deprive many of their constitutional right to self-protection. I want to go to former FBI agent Jeffrey Danik for his reaction. Jeffrey, a lot to unpack there. A very long meeting. Of course, a lot of ideas were thrown out there in terms of suggestions. President Trump, though, seems pretty wedded to the idea that there must be some armed deterrent inside the school, and it must be advertised, and particularly the unknown factor of which teachers may have concealed weapons. All of this, of course, a deterrent more than anything else, because we do know once the bullets start flying, no matter how quickly law enforcement gets there, it's always too late to stop carnage.
Well, my initial reaction is that I think the president's on the right track. To the extent you have security that is visible, a determined threat will account for it. So if you have a prior student coming into the school and it's visible security, they're already going to know about it. So it's what's invisible, the unknown, that can be very effective. So I think he's on the right track about that. The big thing, though, is... The big thing, I think, though, is the physical security. And the president is also on the right track about that. We're not going to get rid of 300 million guns tomorrow. Even if we all would agree right now to do it, we're not getting rid of them by tomorrow, for sure.
Well, we're never going to get rid of them, and so that seems to be a moot point.
I don't know if that's a moot point, but we're not going to get rid of the guns, so you have to push the perimeter back on the school. You can't get onto the school. Having the shootout in the school is as silly as thinking to have the shootout in the plane. If you're having a shootout in a plane or a school, you've failed already. There shouldn't be a shootout there. The perimeter needs to be pushed back. And there's simple, cheap ways to do it, and they can be done quickly and tomorrow. The idea about the smoke canisters in the school and being remotely deployed and making people blind, I don't get that either, because it's, I mean, don't forget, you have first responders rushing in there. Sure. They'll be blinded. Sure. The students will be blinded.
No, I mean, the president's body language said that was
judiciously.
That idea was dead on arrival. I mean, the president, he listened, but he was obviously a little annoyed with that. But in the case of a school, though, particularly when it's a former, even current student, how would a wider perimeter help if someone can walk into the school anyway? I mean, of course, in the case of the Parkland shooting, they knew that that was a bad actor. Perhaps there was something that could have been done to prevent him from getting in, but how would that help? How would a wider parameter or you know, checkpoints or whatever you want to call them have helped that out, have mitigated that situation?
Okay, securing the perimeter and funneling people to a certain checkpoint is what is the first key thing. So you want layers of security. Having an armed person inside the school is the last layer. You want to get out to the perimeter and get the first layer addressed. And yeah, it works at the public meetings where all of our politicians hold their meetings, right? They have the perimeter pushed back. You can't get into the first floor of the building with a gun, even though they have a lot of access points. They're accounted for and controlled. Then you can't get into a courthouse. You can't get into the police station, a lot of areas of the police station without a gun. You can't get into the airport. There's a lot of places you can't get in where they push the perimeter back. And these are simple fixes to funnel people to one spot, come up with environmental barriers to jumping fences and that type of thing, and you can greatly reduce it. But having a public transportation provider be able to drop a child off who's a problem, known problem, expelled from the school at the curb with a duffel bag, and him able to make it in a building, that's not pushing a perimeter back. Surely even to the street would have been better to stop him.
Jeffrey Danik, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.